for all you do to your body.
Get off their butt in the back and get the people out here.
It's still real to me, damn it!
What's up, Gibby?
It's still real to me, damn it.
It sure is. We're coming off the Royal Rumble. It's electric every year. The best event. It's a wrestling fan's dream. You know, WrestleMania is like it's like prom. Royal Rumble is like that party in the cornfield that everybody's talking about. Royal Rumble is just a fun time.
That's the first place you drink your first beer. You touch a girl underneath the shirt. You might get a little kiss on the cheek. Who knows? It's a wild ride. 30-man enter, 1 man can leave. It's the greatest day in the world. I love the Royal Rumble.
This Rumble only had 29 people, Gibby.
We'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, with the Rumble, Roman Reigns picked up another Royal Rumble victory. We talked about it last week. We said, are they going to go with an old guy? Are they going to have someone from the Division do it? Roman does it, and it brings some excitement back. You know, Roman's a guy that can carry the company. He's a guy that makes it interesting. He threw out his whole family. I mean, the guy's a fucking savage. And then on Monday night, he cuts the promo of the year on Seth Rollins saying, I'm not coming for you because I can beat you. I hate you.
Yeah. The only issue that I've had with the Royal Rumble is ESPN fucked me, Matt. ESPN fucked me hard.
Hey, they'll do that.
Unless they want to sponsor us, then I took it gladly. But they said Seth Rollins was going to return, and I would have put a whole paycheck on Seth Rollins coming back, winning the Royal Rumble. Didn't even show up. Didn't even have a 5-second segment on the show.
Well, you know, his wife got to be in the Rumble.
Well, his wife is always in the Rumble.
She got eliminated like a jobber.
That's what mid-carders do, Matt. That's what happens to mid-carders.
She is a mid-carder now, isn't she? How the stars have fallen.
And Rhea Ripley's holding the tag title.
Yeah.
I mean, how our top champions have fallen to the mid-card.
And then the headliners, people, you know, you and I remember them. You got your Nia Jax, you got your Jade Cargills, you got your Jordan Graces, but they're not really getting over with the casual fans. They don't know who they are yet, and WWE might have jumped the gun pushing some of these ladies down the line, even though Becky clearly passed her prime. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Rumble. What did you think about Roman Reigns' victory? Him eliminating Gunther at 30. Did you think Gunther was going to do 2 evil things in a night?
So Gunther was limping down the ramp, and I was, my wife was there. She was watching it with us. My buddy was here, and I was just saying, AJ Styles has got to come out, beat him up, beat his ass, come take his spot, something. And it didn't happen, and I saw him humbling and grumbling, and he was in hell of a match with AJ Styles earlier in the night, but man, seeing Roman Reigns throwing up those ones in Saudi Arabia, I mean, it was something. I will say I wish the men's Rumble was produced to the quality that the women's Royal Rumble was. The women's Royal Rumble gets better and better every year. And I think we're at a point now where we have to stop talking about, women's wrestling and men's wrestling. I think women's wrestling is in the WWE is far superior than men's wrestling right now, at least the way that it's produced. And I don't know if they have people like Bobby Roode and, who else producing it, but it every single time you get a women's match, it feels refreshing and it feels good.
Right. I will take you back to last week. Maybe I'll add the audio in on the edit. We need to fire whoever's producing SmackDown's mid-card women's matches. They need fired, and they need out of wrestling immediately.
Yeah, I did say that. But I will say the Rumble, the way that, obviously there's not a lot of stars, right? We just talked about that a second ago. But it felt like every single person was a star in that match.
It did, and Sol Ruka, her making it to the final three, that was really cool for.
And she was the third entrant.
Yeah, I mean, and they've been doing that the past couple years, which not to break down the fourth wall, but NXT talent has been coming in as one of the first five entrants and then lasting as one of the last five entrants. I mean, we've seen it every year in either the men's or women's, and maybe they do need to call some of these people up sooner, but it's just hard when you're not putting the new people over your old talent. Like Rhea Ripley was never really put over. She had the feud with Liv Morgan, but that was kind of unresolved, even though it ended the way it did. It wasn't like it was a good resolution to the feud.
And I just like the women's match is way better than the men's match. The spots felt cleaner. The entrance felt. I mean, the whole Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the first 5 minutes of the match might have been the greatest comedic thing ever. And also to have R-Truth in Saudi Arabia for the Royal Rumble and not utilize him for a Royal Rumble appearance. What are we doing?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
I don't understand it. WWE just doesn't want to be made a joke unless they're making the joke, so they just have this aversion to putting R-Truth over. And it's like, listen, guys, the crowd will pop for the next 20 years as R-Truth walks out and misunderstands the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he throws up a ladder in the Royal Rumbles match, or he goes out for the women's Royal Rumbles match. Like, and we didn't have a Kofi Kingston this year.
Yeah, Finn Balor really wasn't allowed in the Rumble, but El Grande was. And before we get to the AJ Gunther match, just to keep it on the men's Rumble for a second, there were 2 El Grandes. What the hell is this? I've been under the impression that this man has been wrestling for over 100 years on the AAA, on the luchador scene. And now we're seeing 2 of them. And if maybe his personality switched into 2 separate physical entities, I don't know what happened. But what's that mean for wrestlers on the roster? I mean, how can other guys plan to get over when there's 2 El Grandes?
El Grande Americano, the green one, the good one, he's been doing great things. The people of Mexico, I love him. And then this other cat, this bozo bum, the original El Grande Americano, he shows up and he just, what are we doing here? Like,
I gotta stop you. The original is obviously the real El Grande. That's the guy we've been watching for months and months, green or not. I remember El Grande would be throwing those German suplexes up the way that the original did. I remember back in the 1940s when El Grande Americano was wrestling and he had his gold medal. You could see it under his luchador outfit. I mean, I remember. I was there.
This is one that debuted. I don't know. He didn't look the part of Grande Americano. He had muscles where people don't have muscles. That's not the Grande Americano I remember.
I'll take you back to WrestleMania last year.
Take me back.
El Grande Americano. People were trying to say it was Chad Gable. And then he hit a growth spurt. He got off the juice, shortened out, and we have this poser wearing green when El Grande came out in special colors for the Saudi crowd. Put original on there because he saw the lineup. He got in there. He's close with the brass. He saw the lineup. He said, "What the hell is this? I'm El Grande. Am I this number or this number?"
No. I think the second guy is the same mask man that took out Braun Breaker.
No.
It has to be. I mean, that's the only way. Adam Pearce approves. We heard it on Monday Night Raw. Adam Pearce approves all the passports, all the visas to get into Saudi Arabia. So there's 2 El Grande Americanos on his roster now?
I think that it was one of 3 people. It was Adam Pearce, Logan or Jake Paul, same guy, or it was Randy Orton.
Or it was Grande Americano.
Could have been Chad Gable. Maybe not El Grande.
Where's he been at?
Yeah. He's been gone for a minute, ever since the Luchadors embarrassed him.
Yeah.
He need,
I mean,
he needs to come back and settle this El Grande debate. Whichever El
yeah, a
Grande
triple
beats.
threat: Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, and a Grande Americano. And then the winner faces Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Boom. We solved it. We
We
solved the
solved
mid
it.
card.
I saw rumors, speaking of Dirty Dom, not rumors. He had Groke with the picture of Gunther and a bunch of old guys, and it said, "Hey Groke, eliminate everybody except the person that Gunther's retiring next," and it left Rey Mysterio, and Dirty Dom said, "This is the greatest day of my life."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was pretty
Um,
funny.
and I know that's not on our play sheet, but if they are going down this route with Gunther and ruining careers and retiring people left and right, I think it's going to be a disservice to the storyline that they've built for Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio for that. And I think that could build up a feud between Dominic Mysterio and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Like, hey, I'm gonna retire my deadbeat dad, not you.
Yeah. Well, I don't like when people talk about Eddie or anybody that's dead like that, but um, yeah, it could. I would like to see Dom be Ray's retirement match, like a real feud, something where they're going at it for like months. Again, they're actually going at it.
Yeah,
Leave Rey Mysterio's faction out of it. I don't need to see Dragon Lee or Penta or any of these other guys involved. It doesn't need to be like a Luchadors versus what's left of the Judgment Day. But that would be a great way.
which
Yeah,
which right now, what's left of the Judgment Day.
is what is left of the Judgment Day, because that brings us to our next point. There's some fractures in the Judgment Day. Is this it for him?
Well, I think so, Matt. Mostly because Finn Balor had a lot of NXT vignettes on Monday Night Raw. It was a lot of him showcasing his black and gold days and his single wrestler's career.
Career.
I think like what Liv did to Raquel at the Royal Rumble by eliminating her. Congratulations to Liv Morgan, by the way.
Smart move.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Um, Especially she had to drop the title due to injury, so like get her back in the picture somehow. But I think her eliminating Raquel, I think that's going to start to set, and Raquel telling her not to show up for the title match. I think this is the writing on the wall. I think the next couple weeks we're going to see a faction breakup and a long faction. This is going to be like the bloodline breaking up. It might ruin someone's life.
But, you know, with the Judgment Day breaking up, it'll be kind of a weird thing because normally with factions we see them all ascend together, or at least a lot of them. With the Judgment Day, you have, like you said, Finn Balor, you have Liv, and you have Dom. And they're all living in their own little worlds while Liv and Dom have their own story going. They're all different tiers of greatness in a different type of what they do. Finn's this great solo wrestler. So is Liv, but on a different scene, obviously. And then Dom is this young guy who's going to be just carrying the mid card for as long as you need him to. Finn's kind of a main card guy. Liv is clearly a main card person. And then it leaves you with JD McDonough, Roxanne Perez, who still young. We'll see where her career goes. And then Raquel Rodriguez, who, if there is a feud in the Judgment Day, if there is a fractures in the integrity of them, does it benefit Finn to feud with JD? Does it benefit Liv to feud with Roxanne and Raquel? Or would those two be better off just kind of saying, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not really that worried about what you guys are doing. And I wonder how that'll play out and what that'll mean for those three's career, the three on the lower end of the Judgment Day. Because if they just get thrown in the swamp, are they going to stick together and try to make it on their own? Or it's rough going for them because there's three that already have careers made outside the Judgment Day.
Yeah, and then Roxanne, this is her first year on the main roster, so She still has a lot to prove, right? JD, I mean, we've talked about JD and we've given him his flowers on the show. I think that he's going to be that workhorse mid card guy. You know, your
Your
Zack
Ricochet.
Ryder, a Dolph Ziggler kind of character that you can throw a title on him if you need to so someone can beat him.
Yeah.
And then with Raquel, I think piecing her out and sticking her with the ladies in SmackDown is going to be the best. I mean,
That would be the best for her because they do have a lot more athletic, towering women in SmackDown than they do
yeah.
Raw.
I mean, it's easy for Raquel to go into Monday Night Raw and just tower over everybody and hit everybody with a Tejana bomb.
But how does she match up against a Jade Cargill or even a Jordan Grace, somebody who's as physically strong as her, or if maybe physically stronger, she might turn into a bit of a nail.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's when you start working on, she might fit in the Chelsea Green role of just eating pins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just being somebody that you're always she makes everybody look good when they beat her type of thing.
Yeah, which you need those people, right? I don't want that for her. I want her to, I wish everybody could hold a title all the time. I wish it was AEW over here.
Yeah.
And everyone could get a belt, but a title, my apologies. Everyone can get a championship, but it's not like that. And someone has to lose at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if with the amount of just pure star power that's in the WWE right now, I don't know how they call up new guys and they sign new people and they make a place. I don't know how that's attractive to somebody.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at the guys that are still waiting for their chance. The Javon Ennis, for example, he goes out in the Rumble and just makes an absolute spectacle of himself. The stuff he was doing out there, getting thrown over the top rope, just barely hanging on with his fingertips and pulling himself back in.
Every 30 seconds, it felt like he was hanging over the top rope. And every single time, I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome.
I was like
he lasted 49 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's his first Royal Rumble debut.
He's not a big guy.
And he's not that. He's 21, 22.
Yeah.
And Swerve Strickland was on a podcast the other day, and they were like, hey, how do you feel about these younger guys coming and saying like, hey, I watched you, and he's like, well, take Javon Evans for example. He's a better wrestler than me, and he was like, it was with CVV. He's like, oh, what makes you say that? Or like, it's really humble for you to say that, and he's like, well, he is like. He's a better wrestler now than I was at 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned more and I've done more because, like, I trained on the independents, but he's in a system, right? Like, he's built to, have that. I mean, take, like, Obafemi. How do you put Obafemi on a main roster right now?
Yeah, I mean, you have to push him to the main card because you can't do the AEW thing where you have this big hulking figure that's losing matches to guys half his size. Especially after a Rumble appearance like that.
On Monday Night Raw, he was in a handicap match against the War Raiders, Viking Raiders, whatever they're called now. And he just made him look. He made him look like ragdolls.
Yeah, and he's gonna do that to everybody. If you can do that to the Viking Raiders, you're gonna be able to do that to every single because they're giants. Those dudes are huge, and he's doing that to them. So, with him, it's almost he's hindered by his ability almost. He's hindered by how big and imposing he is because you can't send him up. You don't have guys like Cody Rhodes. That's a horrible matchup for him because we saw a guy try to hit a cutter on Obafemi in the Rumble and Obafemi just caught him.
Who do you put up with Drew McIntyre? Drew McIntyre's a big human.
Yeah.
But look how he handled someone Damian Priest size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Roman Reigns, he made Roman Reigns look small. And Roman Reigns is a former professional athlete.
The only guy that looked impressive to side by side with Obafemi was Powerhouse Hobbs, Royce Keys.
Yeah, I mean, and Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar didn't even look as big as those guys, though.
Yeah, and I'm confused by this Brock Lesnar thing. Why is he just up and joining the like that took a spot from somebody?
Yeah, and unless they're trying to kind of keep him around so they can have Gunther retire him as well. I don't know. maybe
Who
that.
knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Speaking of Gunther retiring people,
Yeah,
AJ Styles and Gunther, banger of a match. I mean, I think that's 4.5 stars.
yeah, that was a great match.
I think it was the second best match of the night. Um, behind the women's Royal Rumble, I genuinely think that was the best match of the night. I think that the AJ Styles Gunther match, like he gashed his forearm early on in the match, and it was bleeding all over the place. Didn't stop once, and then the fact that he didn't tap out, like
He refused to give up.
yeah,
He did what Cena wouldn't. He went out on his shield.
and then he takes the gloves off and puts him in the middle of the ring, and then he picks him back up and puts him on. I don't think he's done wrestling. John Cena's done wrestling. John Cena's done in the WWE. I think we're gonna see an AJ Styles appearance in TNA.
TNA or AEW because
I, I I don't think AEW. I think he's too loyal of a man.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to go out on the company that made him.
I could see that.
Like SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built, right? TNA is the house that built AJ Styles, right? You have a couple of those, TNA original guys like the Motor City Machine Guns and Samoa Joe and Mr. Anderson,
Perk Angle.
Jeff Hardy. Like you have those guys that like TNA, like that built TNA.
Yeah.
That kept TNA around for a while.
But
Jeff Jarrett.
But AJ Styles was the one homegrown talent that like really elevated their brand. They've had guys come in. They've had guys like Motor City Machine Guns that have always been over, but to elevate the brand the way that AJ Styles did and to carry the company
and to stick around for all that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the bullshit through 3 different parent companies and
through what Jeff
selling
Hardy
the company,
did to him,
going bankrupt. And he did it sober. Well, I don't know if he did it like off alcohol, but like
he wasn't
Jeff
on
Hardy,
drugs.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy showed up to a Bound for Glory match with Sting, higher than a kite, and couldn't wrestle.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman
and that was for a title match. And AJ Styles took there and he took that hit on the chin because he was like, "It's just not my time. It's not my time. You know, storyline's not for me." And then he goes to the independents. He goes to WWE. He has a phenomenal career. I think he goes back. I think he retires officially at Bound for Glory. I know he's said it out in fourth wall breaks that his body's telling him that it's time. And I think, if you love something, let it go. I think that now, like, he's been wrestling for a while. He's been wrestling for a while. So I think that it's, if he wants to go, he wants to go. I don't blame him for, wanting to finish it on his terms.
Man, now I feel like I need to make a tribute video with the song by Passenger, Let Her Go, and all AJ Styles emotional moments.
Yeah, I'll send you a TikTok here in a little bit, and it's a AJ Styles edit.
Okay, but speaking of fourth wall breaks, after the Rumble, Triple H was on the desk and they were asking him about the AJ Styles match, and he almost didn't break the fourth wall, but it was... This guy needs to put himself on the shows or he doesn't. He needs to stop letting people know that he's the one pissing him off if he's not going to be there to take the heat the way a McMahon would. This is so fucking frustrating. He said, AJ wanted to wrestle for the entire year. We expected him to, but, Gunther beat him and that's that. And I get that, except you're the head of the company. So it's not that's that. You control everything.
But it's the exact opposite of what Cena wanted to wrestle a full calendar year.
Yeah.
And they gave him 33 dates. Like, you're talking about someone who was,
offering
the face of the company
and he's offering
for 20 years.
He's offering to do the house shows. He's offering to do everything.
And you give him a certain amount of dates that he can do? Well, there's just not nothing for him right now. There's always something for him.
Yeah, and you can make something for him. And this thing you tried to make for him was bringing 2 guys from outside of the WWE universe, and The Rock and Travis Scott, and having them be like his puppet masters. And then when things went sour, they were just left high and dry, and they're like, well, we're going to stick with the 33 dates and the story kind of, but if it doesn't work, we'll change. It was just messy. The AJ Styles one, maybe they were like, hey, we suck at retiring people, so...
Yeah, and I think John Cena is a good testament. Like, that's the first one that's actually done, yeah, we've seen HBK and Ric Flair and The Undertaker, but
But
they always come back.
well, and HBK and Ric Flair's were both at the time. If we're thinking about the same time, it was like I'll wrestle until I lose. It wasn't like this one specific match I have to get
Yeah,
over to.
and there wasn't no build up to the retirement tour. It was just like, oh, is this is
Yeah, it was like
Hardcore Holly going to beat HBK on Monday Night Raw to retire him? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
and it was like it was also like it wasn't a decision made between two wrestlers. It was like Vince McMahon's pissed at Ric Flair. He's pissed at Shawn Michaels. He said, "You can keep your. I'm not going to fire you, but as soon as you lose, you're fired." And it wasn't all right. If you lose to the Undertaker, you're fired. It was just as soon as you lose, so that way we can kind of play it out and decide when it's going to happen, when the perfect time is. It leaves some openings, whereas like it just seems like Gunther doing this, he could do it 100 times and it's not going to get over.
yeah, it's just going to make him a worse and worse. When he retired Goldberg, that's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool.
Okay, that's cool. He retired that guy's career. Then he retired John Cena. And I'm like, okay, he's going to get hated forever. And now it's just that's Gunther's only matches is retirement match. The most dominant force in WWE. He doesn't have a championship.
He's just beating up old guys. Like
Yeah, he's the longest Intercontinental champion. He has a World Heavyweight Championship reign. Like, okay, we gave him his flowers last week because I mean he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a great wrestler, but at the same time, like he didn't win the Rumble. He doesn't have any championship matches. Like, what do we do? Like,
yeah, and he's also not going out there and beating the top guys when he faces them every time because he's not facing them. They're not putting him in with top guys.
yeah, I mean, he's having squash matches with Rio and whatever the other Grande Americano sidekick is.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here? So,
Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it's not, they're not doing it right. They need to give up on this. Gunther's going to be this, like, conniving heel. He's just an imposing force, and that's okay. But don't try to make him what he's not. And he's not even trying, like, he's not leaning into it anymore. He's not doing a maniacal laugh or, like, a sinister laugh to, it's just like, he's like, I'm still very stoic. I'm still
well, now he comes out as AJ Styles.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, on Monday Night Raw, he came out as AJ Styles.
Oh, I missed that. That's pretty cool. But still, that's just not him. It's just not what you need from Gunther. But
another thing that I want to talk about for the Royal Rumble that really pissed me off. Why the fuck was Jey Uso's entrance so long?
dude, Jey Uso.
And Gunther said it the best. You're really, really good at a tag team as a tag team wrestler. Like, I mean, at this point, like, what, like, I don't know. What are we doing?
Main event Jey Uso is not a thing. He's got an entrance. And, I hate to limit him to that, but that's all he's got is just an entrance.
He doesn't even look like he's having fun doing his entrance anymore. Like, he's pulling away from the crowd, and he has this dirty look on his face coming down the crowd. And, like, it's overdone and it's overplayed. And, like, as a grown adult, I hate it.
Yeah, and well, I think kids are even starting to hate it too because you can't keep doing the same thing forever and ever and never producing anything. Jey Uso either needs to take his role as a mid-carder and start wrestling for like United States and Intercontinental Championships or just do the tag team thing because you're great as a tag team. You took over what the New Day had and just the hype and how the fans loved the Usos.
But a 13-minute entrance is coming down the ramp, and you're not even in the ring yet, and then you're telling them to run your music back in the middle of a Royal Rumble.
Well, and then because you do that, a guy like Brock Lesnar gets eliminated during your dance party, and it looks like a jobber elimination. You just toss him out like it's nothing.
Yeah, like what? Like I don't know. Do we really need 15 minutes of Jey Uso walking down some stairs?
Yeah, and it's not like he's something like that would be cool if a Jey Uso was retired for 10 years and then came back and it was like, oh, the dance party's back. And that would be a little bit cooler. But when it's every time you fucking wrestle, dude.
Yeah, like what's it's just me, Oos.
Yeah.
Day one. Yeah, cool. It's fun but like it's kind of annoying because it just
It takes
it
away.
it adds on 50, and then you're sitting there, and then as soon as he's done, it's a commercial break or an ad break, or you go to something else, and it's like if you're at a live show and you're listening to that, it's going on the whole time, and like people are like actually getting frustrated. Like
Yeah, they're like,
every time that it's happened to me at a live show, it's like, oh, this is like getting mildly annoying now.
yeah, no, when I went to Raw and he was there, he came out and everybody was hyped and had my daughter doing the oos thing. And then after about 2 minutes, it's like, all right, like, yeah. And then he's
Like,
having you yeet to everything he says after he's done dancing. And it's like, all right, man, like, you're not it. And you're not going to be it.
it was cool at first. It was cool at first.
It was, but he's not good enough of a wrestler to justify the entrances that he does.
Yeah. And it'd be a lot different if like that was something Finn Balor or even Cody Rhodes. If Cody Rhodes had that same exact entrance,
It'd be different.
it'd be different because
He's
he
over.
can well that and he can wrestle.
Yeah.
Jey Uso just looks out of shape and like I'm not one to talk because I'm also out of shape. But
You're
like
also not
he,
paid to be a
he
professional wrestler.
yeah, he doesn't fit the part. Like he has a beer belly now, and
Yeah.
like he moves slow, and it's the
Yeah.
same slap dog, like the same 5 moves of doom, but it's a 5 moves of poo essentially.
Yeah. Well, and the beer belly thing is a hindrance to someone like him because him and Jimmy were so great because they were high flyers. They were able to
Yeah,
do wild shit that was super athletic, and now it's like, all right, dude, you got main event Jey Uso, and he just gained a bunch of weight and like got worse at wrestling, or it exemplified that he can't wrestle a singles match.
and what do you do? Like how many super kicks and Uso splashes can you do, and like spear? Like what's your move repertoire? Like there's no bionic elbow, there's no off the rope Cody cutter, there's no
There's not
you
even
know
any rope moves for the Usos. Like they'll get thrown off the ropes, but they're not going to throw you to the ropes and bounce back and do a clothesline or anything. He doesn't have a clothesline in his repertoire. He doesn't have like anything for someone on the ground other than the Uso splash. He
yeah.
and
I
his
mean,
stand up is that, like you said, that stupid slap or it's the super kick. And I
and other than
hate
that,
I
it's a back and forth punch fest where it's yeet,
yeah.
what, yeet, yeah, yeet, what, yeet, yeah,
I
yeet,
hate
boo.
I hate the super kick so much because it used to be until 2016-17, super kick was a finisher.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the DDT.
Yeah.
What happened to the DDT?
DDT was frustrating because it was still some guys' finishers and it was also in some other guys' random moveset.
Yeah.
And
I mean, everyone started using the DDT. I mean, same thing with a pedigree. People are using the pedigree now with like,
it's just like a normal move, yeah.
yeah. It's I don't know.
Let's
Suplexes like 4 suplexes in a row used to put somebody out cold.
yeah.
I hate that there's really no protected finishers anymore.
There's really not. I mean, choke slam doesn't finish anybody anymore. Nobody is allowed to do the pile driver. Attitude adjustment, F5 gets kicked out of. Cody cutters get kicked out of. There's nothing other than the Cobra.
Oh man.
But so before we get into our overall thoughts on the Rumble, the debuts, comebacks, NXT talent, and whatnot, the Masked Man. We're gonna get into Adam Pearce with this too. Who is the Masked Man? And then also, Adam Pearce, is he doing what we need from a GM that we haven't had in almost 20 years from a GM, where they're really antagonized? I guess it's probably been about 15, but where they're really antagonizing the talent, where they're really involved and have real beef with them. Because in the past, it's just been the GM is acting like the GM of a fucking restaurant, where it's just like, all right, you go here. And
Yeah, I think it's moved towards and this might be a part of the Netflix era, the Triple H era, whatever you want to call it, where it's moved more towards like these are athletes, and I'm managing these athletes on my roster,
Yeah.
and it's creative putting on X, Y, and Z, but I do think the GMs do have like a big part of like organizing travel and hey, this is your like you're going up against this person and relaying those instructions from creative to the talent. And I do think it's cool that they're bringing it in and like it's not random like interactions of like it's hey player, you're going against the Undertaker tonight.
Hey, I love that.
I think it is more on the antagonizing the talent and becoming the. I mean, before Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, like they were getting paid to what show up on TV and get yelled at. You know what I mean?
Get yelled at, or just kind of talk to people and be like, "Yep, we're getting you in this match for the title, and I hope you're happy." Yeah, shake your hand.
And now it's like it's a real authority figure for the show.
Yeah, and it's like what's happening with the Vision is great, I think, where someone's challenging him and he actually is pushing back and not getting pushed over like he has in the past, and he's looking like this hard ass principal almost, where he's like, "I'm not dealing with your shit today. I'm doing so much more shit than what you could imagine, Braun Breaker. You're just a thorn in my fucking side."
Yeah, and Nick Aldis is the same way when Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes were doing that, like same thing, and like when Jade Cargill went through that car, like it was the same thing. I like the direction it's going. I don't know. It feels like the Vision has some dirt on Adam Pearce, and I don't know what it is.
I feel like I thought that on SmackDown before the Rumble. I was like, It seems like everything leading up to that seemed like they had something on Pearce. What is it? And now after the Rumble, and especially after Monday Night Raw, it makes me think that Adam Pearce maybe figured out what they thought they had on him and was like, "Oh, that's nothing. Like, you can have that." And I am so much more of a big deal than you guys are. Like, you guys don't understand where I'm at and what I'm dealing with compared to the Vision and making sure that one of you guys share a belt. Like, title.
Belts hold up pants.
Top belts hold up pants. Titles could hold up pants.
Well, titles are not given.
But who do you think that masked man is? Is it Adam Pearce? Is it is it a Paul brother?
Seth Rollins, Adam Pearce. I don't know.
I thought it could have been Jake Paul at first, but the more I thought about it, the way that guy moved and hit that stomp without, killing Braun Breaker makes me think it probably wasn't Jake Paul. Because
and I mean, Adam Pearce did bring up a good point. Like, the last person to wear a mask around the Vision to take out a member of the Vision, Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So, like, is it Austin Theory running it back?
Could it be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong on top of each other's shoulders?
It could be Wade Barrett.
No, Wade Barrett was talking.
Oh, yeah. McAfee.
That would be such a waste. That would be.
You don't like McAfee in the WWE?
I love McAfee in the WWE. I love him as a commentator. I love him in his little side roles. I think he's great. I think he brings a great energy for like 6 months at a time. You don't need to have him there all the time. But, if you have him on like a 6 month out of 2 years or 6 month out of 18-month rotation, I like that out of McAfee. I think he's fun. What do you think about him?
I like McAfee. He's an electric personality, especially in the off season of football when he's on Monday Night Raw. He's on all the PLEs. He brings a different vibe, and I really like it. And he says some of the shit that we want to say.
Yeah.
Him and Michael Cole have really good chemistry, and I do like that.
Their chemistry reminds me a little bit of a new school version of JR and Jim Ross, where you have
and the King, and Jerry the King,
JR and the King. You got one guy, and JR has his moments where he's not the most professional. He gets a little fired up, but one guy, for the most part, he's pretty professional, taking it very serious. Another guy that's like, holy shit, did you see that? In the middle of what the other guy's saying, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? You just cut me off. And,
Yeah.
it's a nice dynamic that those two have. And I don't think that McAfee would work well with the Wade Barrett. I know he's
Joe Testaverde.
yeah,
Like,
he would work well with Tessitore, but
yeah.
Tessitore is just
Corey Graves. I don't think he'd work well with Corey Graves.
no. He needs to be with a traditional broadcaster because of his football background and everything, where he's kind of bouncing between a million things. He's comfortable there. He doesn't have to wonder about someone like Wade Barrett or Corey Graves. Is that like a real shot that they're giving me? Is that like just part of the show that we're doing? Michael Cole,
Yeah.
he knows what to take tongue in cheek and what to not. And it would just be a little more awkward if you have two guys that are almost the color when, Cole's the play-by-play and McAfee's the color, Barrett's a color, Graves is a color. Both have tried the play-by-play, but it's just not for them.
Yeah. No, I like what they're doing with commentary. I just don't know what do they do if McAfee does come back.
You just
Who
put
do
him
they
in
relegate down to NXT? Do they make it a 3-man team at some places? Does SmackDown get?
I think McAfee's too big of a personality for a 3-man team. I think because when he says something, someone's got to react, and Cole's reactions are golden. But if you have two guys fighting over the reactions to what McAfee says,
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you move Wade Barrett to SmackDown and then Corey Graves down to NXT again? Like, what do you like? What do we do? Like,
why not?
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Or is Joe Tess on a?
Joe Tess is on Zuffa Boxing.
Is he?
Yeah, he's doing Zuffa again or boxing again.
So maybe McAfee is coming back, and they're just
It would be great. I mean, McAfee can do a killer schedule. He was doing Monday night, or he was doing Sunday night football, Monday night Raw. He was doing the Saturday night PLEs. He was just traveling all over the fucking world for like 6 months there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was super dope. But so who is the one person though that you think actually is the Masked Man? Who's out for Braun Breaker or for the Vision? Because I'll tell you what I thought. Not about who I thought it was, just off their stature. They're not as tall as a Randy Orton, not as tall as a Logan Paul, I thought, but they were a thick dude. And not a Bronson Reed thick.
So you're thinking like LA Knight, maybe?
See, it had the build, but it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, because he's very out there with his hatred of the Vision.
Yeah.
I do think. I mean, Seth Rollins makes sense to me.
I thought it looked too big to be Seth, though.
Well, I mean, look what they're doing with Grande Americano.
Yeah,
like anyone
true.
can wear the mask.
And we saw with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, like you said, the devil can be 6 foot, he can be 5'2".
Yeah.
Any given night.
Yeah, so like, I just think it's what they do with the storyline. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's Austin Theory again, because there's no reason why Logan Paul would say, "Hey, you're going to be the guy that wins the Rumble." Braun Breaker chooses his number; it's number 2, and then all of a sudden, all the Vision guys come out at around the same time.
You see, that makes me think it could be Logan Paul more, and we saw the guy kind of had a blonde beard under there.
Yeah.
In the free shots, who's to say that that's not just someone working for somebody? But it could be Logan Paul when you think about it. Like, he makes that decision. He says, "Hey, it's going to be you." But then maybe he's like, "Shit, I want it to be me, but I can't say it needs to be me." So if I can eliminate Braun Breaker from the Rumble before even having to face him, because he's going to be such a force, then maybe the rest of the Vision will say, "Hey, it needs to be Logan."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. We'll just see where the story leads us.
Well, and the story leads us to your overall thoughts on WrestleMania, the production, the program in general. What did you think of it? There were a lot of complaints, but WWE fans have been taking, I shouldn't say all fans, but the online marks, they've been almost taking like TKO's soulification of the product. They've been taking that to criticize everything and complain about more stuff than they need to. And I saw a lot of people complaining about this Rumble. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought it was a good. I mean, it started the year off right. I think it was a great PLE. It was well put together. I will say that I'm not a big fan of Saudi Arabia PLEs. The crowd was underwhelming.
The women's
It wasn't a good
matches,
crowd.
it's so messed up to make them wear full body suits.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Either they that the Saudi Arabia crowd hated the women, or they didn't like wrestling.
Yeah,
And I couldn't tell which. Um, I've heard a couple rumors online too that some tickets for Royal Rumble were like $150 at some points, and like
I
US dollars.
I heard that the Royal Rumble had thousands of empty seats.
Yeah. So but then we come home and to sit, 6 rows back in the lower bowl, like
For
45 feet away from the thing, I'm dropping
thousand.
$600.
Yeah.
For 2 tickets, I'm dropping $800. So like, what's TKO doing with their audience? You know what I mean? And I know you can always get tickets the day of, and they're a lot cheaper. And but I'm
But
not,
not that much cheaper.
yeah. I was literally in Monday Night Raw, watching Monday Night Raw, looking at empty floor seats, and I looked at bottom, and they were $20 cheaper per ticket
Yeah, it's
than what
like,
they were 3 months beforehand.
well, and do you remember, I think it was last year, right before the price hikes really started to happen, WWE was bragging about how they've had, I think it was like 100 sold out shows in a row or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I was at 2 or 3 of those shows.
I was
Uh,
too, and then I went to the first one that wasn't sold out, which was at Nationwide after WrestleMania, and they had the blackout curtains up. Tickets for the cheap seats were $120 a piece. We were up in the highest spot in Nationwide. $120 a
it's
piece.
like I think they're doing a lot to. Fans are going to spend the money if they want to spend the money.
I hate it.
And I think they're doing a lot to alienate the the same audience that they're trying to win for, that they're having the Saturday night events for. They're trying to win the regular viewer over,
But
and to
then
go and see,
you can't
you know,
afford it.
yeah, to go and see, your favorite wrestlers wrestle on, even a house show tickets are expensive.
Yeah.
So like you're trying to build the audience, right? But then at the same time, you want to go to the event, and it's a car payment or a mortgage payment or your rent.
Yeah,
Like, what do
like
you sacrifice to go see those?
I
And
remember
there's no like dynamic pricing options.
I went with my brother-in-law and his wife and my wife a few years ago, probably 3 years ago now, and we were in the upper level of the lower bowl, but it was about 58 bucks a ticket for 4 tickets for the upper deck of the lower bowl.
Yeah.
And now that's like a $400 ticket.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm privileged enough to be in a position where I can afford those, and like I'm able to do those things, because I live by the concept of like I'm gonna do what I want to do because I want to do it. And so like I set aside money for these events,
But
but
it's
like not everyone's in that position.
well, and also like at the same time, wouldn't you want that money to go further still? Like
Yeah,
be able to go
like
to every PLE that's in your area or
yeah. I mean, we went to Bad Blood, um, what 2 marches ago, something like that, and we spent more on those tickets than we did lower bowl tickets for a Monday night Netflix show. And we sat 6 rows deep in on Monday Night Raw. And like, yeah, it's a premium live event. Yeah, it was in Atlanta. Yeah, we stayed at the venue where the event was. But like, I got more out of my Monday Night Raw tickets because I got to like, it was where I was from. They were cheaper, so I got to do, I got to go home that night, and I didn't have to spend money on travel and airfare, but like at the same time, I got to experience Bad Blood, and that was cool. Yeah, it was expensive, and it sucked, driving back from Atlanta
yeah.
on a Monday at 9 a.m. But it was still fun. It was a fun, but like imagine what I could have done with that $1,200 on a normal, like I could go to the merch stand and get replica Cleveland Browns belts.
Yeah,
Like I can do so much more with the same amount of money, but now you can't with the price hike. Like
and
they're
TKO
doing so much
seems
to alienate their audience, and sometimes the products doesn't reflect that.
no. There have been a lot of times, and I keep coming back to it, but a lot of times over the past few years where it's almost like, man, I don't even know if I want to catch up on any Raw this week because it's just a bunch of nothing going on. Like, or if I miss it, I'm like, I don't really need to catch up. And then by Friday or Thursday, I'm like, all right, I need to see what happened. But the sense of urgency goes away, especially in the 2 weeks between, in the middle of the between PLEs, when it's like the WWE is just kind of like, yeah, we're shipping it in. We got something big coming for you, so we don't want to give you too much. And towards the end of the year and at the beginning of the year, we see championship matches on Raw, never on SmackDown really anymore, but we see that. But then as soon as the PLE schedule or calendar kicks off, they're like, all right, we're just, everything's kind of, this is the cheap brand Raw. You get to watch wrestling and what wrestling is. Same with
Yeah,
SmackDown, and then the PLEs where you really want to watch where things might actually happen. You're not missing anything if you watch the middle of the week shows or the weekly shows anymore.
yeah. I mean, nowadays it's a lot different because it's so action packed, like 3 hour long shows. But it's also leading up to WrestleMania. I want to see what this is. I'd say this is their second year going into the super expensive like the TKO branding and everything. I want to see how it looks like after WrestleMania going into SummerSlam.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but it's just it's turning into like an influencer event. There maybe smaller venues will be better for them since they just want to charge $1 billion. But also with how the Saudi crowd was, because I thought it was a really poor crowd. What's this mean for when WrestleMania goes to Saudi in 2 years?
I,
Does that concern TKO or WWE at all that the crowd was that bad and there were that many empty seats? Like they had lights installed on the seats. Yeah, but that's bad for optics.
I mean,
If
if you have
WrestleMania has empty seats,
if you have the opportunity to get blood money, get blood money.
yeah, but man,
That's how
if
TKO is looking at it.
it
I
is,
mean,
but I feel like that could almost be detrimental to the hardcore fans' perception of you as a company. Like
yeah,
you,
if there's empty seats at the Super Bowl of wrestling,
that's a
I mean,
that's a black eye.
yeah, and I think that that's why they're doing so much to build up like Riyadh and like do the Riyadh season stuff. Like, I think and they're trying to get tourists there a lot. Like,
They are,
yeah, if I
they're
can,
doing the same thing with boxing and MMA. Riyadh season sponsors it. The Saudi Tourism Board is all over that.
yeah. So like, if and to be honest with you, if I can go see WrestleMania for $4 grand cheaper in Saudi Arabia than I can in America,
That's pretty cool.
I I like the desert. I hate the sand, but I'll go to the desert. You know what I mean?
But
I
it's just everybody having to plan that out and travel that far and like people having to take the 2 weeks off to go to Saudi because that's not like a weekend trip.
yeah, yeah, definitely not.
Like,
It's. I want to see how it goes moving forward. I mean, especially with the Royal Rumble was there, didn't do too hot. You know, WrestleMania going there. I don't know if I hope and part of it might be getting the Saudi crowd more involved,
but like
doing more.
Saudi gives those tickets out pretty much. I mean, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah,
fill this because we want it to look good for tourism." And if you can't even get the people of a regime like Saudi to come to the show,
yeah. I don't. It's gonna.
it's just weird to try to make a splash in a market like that. Doing the shows over there when we've seen before the WWE got linked up with Saudi in the way that they did, they had the Night of Champions and everything. But before they got really linked up with Saudi, we've seen with boxing and with UFC when they go over there, UFC either does a super small venue because nobody's showing up, or boxing has a super empty venue that they have to move
Yeah.
last second to a new venue because nobody shows up. They're just not. It's not something they're interested in it over there.
And then you take a London crowd, right?
Yeah,
Or even Dublin,
France.
and those crowds are electric.
It's
Why can't they get a
completely.
WrestleMania?
Yeah, or New Orleans, or anywhere that fans are gonna appreciate it. Underserved communities need a WrestleMania. Yeah,
Cleveland.
like they went to Philadelphia a few years ago, and that was genius. That was amazing when they went to
I,
Philly.
yeah, I just think it's a lot about the money, right? Especially with the TKO umbrella, it's a lot about the money. Um, and it's not much about the fan experience. I
No,
mean, same thing with Fanatics. Like Fanatics is dog shit, but like I can't go get licensed products anywhere else besides Fanatics and Walmart,
yeah,
and I'm not stepping foot in a Walmart.
yeah. I get you. And I actually was in Walmart today looking for UFC and WWE cards. I was real disappointed.
Yeah, I can't find. I mean, Amazon, I found some good WWE cards. TikTok Shop, the WWE Chromes. I got the Travis Scott ones.
Yeah,
They were pretty dope. I'll have to break out my collection here soon. Maybe next episode we'll go through my collectibles. Um, but like you can't find any of that stuff either. So they want to market it and they want to make a bunch of money, but they're not putting it in places that fans go to. I don't know any fan that goes to I don't know the Ross Harrison Teeters or Trader Joe's, and
yeah.
that's probably where their cards are or Publix. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
it's weird what TKO does. They're like, "Oh, you'll pay us most, even if we won't sell very much of it. We already got our buck out of it." So that's what we are worried about.
yeah,
And
I want to make mine. I want to get my ROI back.
yeah, and it's rough. And then when I was at Walmart today, I was walking the boys around, and we looked at the WWE wrestling figures, and the new wrestling figures have like a hunchback, and it's just like
I
TKO
remember when they first started doing those when we were kids. I did Edge one that was like that with
with
the
the bendable
articulate.
torso.
Yeah. I don't like them.
I don't either.
I'm glad I don't have kids. Because all my action figures and stuff, all their toys would be the exact same size, so they're interchangeable with the storylines in the
Yeah,
games you can play with them. I'm not gonna get them a toy this big and a toy this big, and they're supposed to play together. Like, no, you got to play with those toys there, and
yeah.
that just might be a little bit of my OCD and
No,
imagination.
that's a
Like,
real thing. It's like
like
yeah,
you're not gonna play with your little toy soldiers with your 6 foot tall John Cena cardboard action figure. Like that's not going to happen unless you gave John Cena a growth serum,
yeah. You got to
and that's the reason why he's that big. You have to put it in the storyline.
make it make sense. Yeah,
Everything else, all your toys are being the same size,
yeah.
or you can only play with this toy or this toy or this toy or this toy.
Well, and I remember those adjustable chest ones or adjustable torso ones. They were also like a little bit taller no matter what.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
like, okay, why is Rey Mysterio as big as Batista?
yeah. Well, thankfully, the only one I had was Edge, and it was the Chase one. He had the gray pants instead of the black pants. He had like gray camo pants, so
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
that is cool.
And I also had two Undertakers as well. And so they had the rubber hair in the back, and so like
Oh
on one
yeah,
of them,
I used to
I
have.
put it in boiling hot water, and I took the hair off, and I painted the face red, and it could be any character I wanted to, and he was just wearing a red mask.
I used to have everybody, but this Umaga one, and I took him on vacation and put him in the hot tub, and they were doing their thing down in the hot tub, and his face tattoo started to go away, and I was like, oh no, they're rubbing off. This is just paint. And then I don't know what kind of material it was, but when it got out of the hot water and like dried off, it came back. Because I was like
That's cool.
I was running up to my dad to be like, hey, look what just fucking happened to all these guys. And then I was like, oh. But
That is really cool, actually.
I used to love doing Royal Rumble matches with all my characters. But
Yeah, yeah.
God, throwing ceramic mugs against the wall when I was 18.
I'll make that sound clip this weekend.
That thing's fucking ceramic. So we've talked about Royal Rumble, WWE, in loads. We'll wrap things up with a little bit of AEW talk. Not much has been going on in the NXT world, but AEW, we have had a little bit going on. Tommaso Ciampa made his debut, wins the TNT title. TK, Tony Khan, announces a Contender Series in which Brody King is going to be facing off with with MJF, not for MJF's title, but for a chance to face MJF for the title. Weird. And then also in that Contender Series, we have Kenny Omega taking on Andrade. So I hate the Contender Series thing. I don't like it. If you want to do a tournament, that's fine. But a Contender Series where you're just like looking at merit and how the matches get, I don't like it. What are your thoughts on what AEW is doing right now with this? They've done this before in the past too.
I like the concept of a Contender Series, but the Contender Series needs to be something for like one of those rings that you can cash in for any time, or
like what MJF had.
Yeah, or the Heritage Cup or something like that. If you're gonna have a merit-based wrestling tournament or series or power rankings, it has to be tangible to something. The champion can't be in there.
Exactly.
Unless it's for something other than his championship. Because if I was MJF and I was facing Brody King and it was for my championship, I would go in there stiff as a board, not wrestle good, look like ass, make my opponent look like ass. Because Brody King's a massive dude. He's a massive dude and he's a good wrestler. So if I had to face him in my championship Contender Series and I was the champion, I do everything in my power to make him look bad.
Yeah, I mean, why would he allow Brody King to showcase himself?
There's no skin in the game for MJF to lose because the title's not on the line.
Yeah.
So why not have a piss poor? Why not be MJF and
go
be
out,
a dickhead?
Yeah, why not just go out, lay down on your back, and be like,
yeah, hit him with a steel, like come in with a steel chair and hit him and DQ yourself
right away. Why not pull the ring out and just knock him out and be like, up?
Yeah,
because there's no stakes to it. Like,
yeah,
it's just like it's very reminiscent to MJF's first title run when he was going to be taking on Switchblade, and they had the pay-per-view build as MJF versus Switchblade for the title. It's already built a month and a half in advance. And then that entire month and a half, MJF is defending his belt every week on Collision and Dynamite against another guy. And Switchblade has to wrestle people to continue to hold his number one contender spot. Meanwhile, we've already got posters, we've got commercials, we've got everything. It's like, we know what's going to happen. We know you're not going to change things up. No matter how great the match is, no matter how close it looks like he might be to losing it, we know what's happening here. And it's not like that was a story that gave Switchblade an advantage to where MJF's beat up because he's wrestling every week, because Switchblade had to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I think it's a good concept if it's for anything other than a championship if the champion's in there. If it's the Killer Feast thing or Fire to Feast that TNA has, that's cool. And I think like another thing that I'd like to see any brand do is do you remember Cyber Sunday?
Oh God, where they vote live.
Imagine a Cyber Sunday nowadays. Like just bring it back a one-off PPV or PLE. Just post it on Twitter, or Instagram, or Facebook for fuck's sake, and say, "Hey, this is who do you want to see in this match? Okay, I want to see Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura in a Philadelphia street fight."
Yeah, and how electric was that, and how ahead of its time was that also?
Yeah.
Having the live voting. And, when you could tell some of those votes were not what the WWE had planned.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I've heard I think it was Maven somebody talked about it on a podcast about those were 100%
voted in.
We didn't know who was going on. I had 3 different matches.
They didn't want King Booker to be the one defending his title in that triple threat match that he ended up being the one defending.
Hey, five time.
Yeah, who was it? Him, John Cena, and Kurt Angle, or not Kurt Angle,
Yeah,
the Big Show.
yeah,
And I think they wanted the Big Show to be the one defending. They made him this big heel going in, and the fans just hated King Booker so much.
yeah. But I think they need to bring something like, and then that way we can really see and how in tune the WWE was with their fans. I don't know who it was, but they were talking about like I had 3 different finishes for 3 different matches, and I had to run through all of them real quick before what it was. But like, I think it'd make for good wrestling content. But nowadays everything's so you can obviously tell when something doesn't go as planned in matches.
Yeah, you absolutely can, and especially now with how these guys are all trained so well. When things don't go as planned, they're not trained to deal with the adversity that the old
Yeah,
wrestlers used to. Where, the John Cena Batista match, or not match, but finale at
the Royal Rumble
Rumble.
ending.
Yeah, like there's nobody in the WWE really now. And if there is, they don't work with another person that does. But there's nobody that can think on their feet like that. Like how Vince McMahon came out, blew both his quads, and instructed them to restart the match.
Restart. Yeah,
Like, there's nobody. And, it takes John Cena and Batista to be able to take that and do what they did with it and restart it to do what they needed to do.
yeah,
And now it's like, if something's not planned, character is broke right away. Like, example, Damian Priest going for the boot on Drew McIntyre, getting his foot stuck in the ropes, and McIntyre immediately like trying to help him out before realizing he's good and starts beating him up. It's like, you just got to go for it. You just got to go for it, dude.
haunt the crowd. Something like what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the referee's job.
Yeah, like we have guys out there to make sure he's safe, and it's just his fucking ankle, dude. Like, it's just his.
If he
fucking
dies, he
ankle.
dies.
Yeah.
Dude.
If he dies, he dies. But I think, do you have anything else for me? I think that's all we got for you today. We're cutting the time down beautifully. If we can keep it around an hour.
An hour and maybe an hour 15, hour 20.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We
It
can
feels
always
good.
run over, yeah, but this went a lot smoother. I think we had a lot less. We still have our offshoot tangents that we've been going on, but we have a lot less, and we're getting better.
Nope.
We got an intro.
Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments, leave a comment, right? Tell us what you think of the intro that Matt made. And I have a question for everyone in the comments. Your favorite match of all time? What is your favorite match of all time? Mine, personally, I got 2. I got John Cena and CM Punk at Money in the Bank in 2013. And I also have the Triple Threat TLC match at WrestleMania between the Dudley Boys, Christian and Edge, and Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Ooh.
The banger match, the one of the first TLC matches ever. Phenomenal. Like, another honorable mention. Not One Night Stand. The ECW pay-per-view with John Cena and RVD.
Yeah.
Another great match. But people in the comments, while Matt's telling his favorite matches, you go ahead and tell us yours.
Yeah, putting me on the spot here. First one that comes to mind, not a one-on-one or triple threat match, but the Money in the Bank with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Edge, Christian, where everybody's just dying in that match. Jeff Hardy does the flip off the ladder onto Edge, who's extended.
Was that one of the ones at a WrestleMania?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does the swanton onto Edge on an extended ladder between the barricade and the ring, breaks Edge's neck, puts him out of wrestling for almost 15 years after they realize he can't come back from that. That's one of them. Anytime I got to see Rey Mysterio school the Big Show, dude, that was amazing.
How did you feel about when Great Khali squished Rey Mysterio's head?
God, dude. I was crying. The blood coming out of his eyes.
It's not funny. It was very traumatizing as a child.
Dude, WWE was on a run at that time to traumatize you. They were like, all right, we're going to blow Vince McMahon up. Now we can't. Which I actually, before, yeah, I got to say that Money in the Bank match, though, is my favorite match to go back and watch. Another one that, not great match, great to go back and watch. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, SummerSlam '06.
Yeah, yeah,
Overselling to the nth degree.
yeah.
So,
I will say the trilogy between Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar,
that's
also
amazing.
absolute bangers. Anything with Eddie Guerrero in it, a
Yeah,
banger.
Eddie Guerrero's.
Chris Benoit had some bangers, but
Who?
we don't. Yeah, we don't really talk about him.
I saw they paid homage. El Grande paid homage to him though with the headbutts.
No, that was the Samoan Dynasty. Throw your ones up. He was just predicting that Roman Reigns was going to win the Royal Rumble.
No, he put the shield in his mask and he was jumping and doing headbutts to everybody.
Allegedly, that was for Chris Benoit.
But yeah, that's probably it for me. And don't forget, I'll do the promo, Gibby. W.GG, 10% off. Promo code BloodBeerBSN. I think. W though. Great energy product. It's a scoopable energy. You put it in your water. No jitters. No crash. It helps you focus. It helps you play the games. It helps you do your homework, study. You need to clean the house. Just anything you need to do. And you don't have that jittery, nervous energy. You're not going to have a crazy crash afterwards. It's just a nice, smooth, focused energy. Like you took an Adderall you weren't supposed to. I don't know if that's how they want us promoting the product, but it works, damn it. It works and it's still real to me. And
it's still real to me. And that's between the ropes, brother.
That's all we got for you. And thanks for tuning in. Between the Ropes, another Blood Sport Network production. Blood and beer, baby.
See you next week.